up, everybody? This is Edward back with another video, another episode of Everybody Hates a Black Man. Shout out to the new subscribers. You got some people slowly but surely creeping up. I don't know how long this is going to be. This actually might be relatively short. I want to get a couple of thoughts off my chest really quick. Shout out to Wednesday afternoon. A couple of questions I want to ask. Let me say this. Let me start with the topic. Let's jump right in. Well, let me start with a couple of things. Shout out to Queen. She left a comment. I wanted to kind of respond to this directly, verbally. I responded to it in the comments. I shared a video. Shout out to Young Grizzly providing that video. I shared a video. It's a documentary on Mike Rashid. I actually haven't seen it, but it's by bodybuilders.com. They're not in this space, so they have no reason to throw him under anything. They'll just say what it is. So folks have been talking about him. He's kind of made his way in the manosphere as like the topic of the week, which is something we always do. I don't understand why this is a big deal. It was true for Kwame, Tommy. It is what it is. I don't know what makes this guy like off limits. I mean, Kwame is not a quote unquote manosphere guy either. But anyway, Queen Q writes, Edward Anderson, you do realize this man is not a part of the manosphere. He does not make manosphere content. Let the man have his opinion. If it bothers men so much about the domestic violence rate that he brought up, then I implore men to please start reporting when women attack you, so that way statistics can truly reflect what's going on. That's first part. Second part is, so that way when you have him or another man coming to this space, they won't be able to use that statistic to support their cause and get it. And I get it. I don't agree with everything he said, but y'all are going after a man who does not operate in this space, trying to force him to see your views. Let it go. Okay. So let me jump. It's a very sensible comment, but let me respond directly. Look, just like Republicans and Democrats go after each other all the time, Tea Party, religious right, conservatives, even within the conservative movement, go at each other all the time. This is called politicking. Part of it is the business of getting views, which that's not what motivates me to do shit. But as y'all can see, I rarely put these motherfuckers' names in my titles like that. But I understand that motivation for other people. It's not like I'm just reaching on his channel. I mean, he actually went on Jessica X's channel. Bernard actually talked about it as well. So by him coming over there, I mean, that's more than a lot of other people do. He was on Fresh and Fit's channel, which is I would call it in a manosphere adjacent channel. But going back to the political metaphor, it's about influence, number one. It's about telling the truth, number two. And one of the topics I'm definitely going to start covering in the themes is commercialism versus mission versus the politics, which is a lot of things that kind of intertwine a lot of people's opinions. And one part of that I'm going to talk about today. But it's not that people are butthurt over what he's saying. Also, take him out of it. You had a dude that came on the panel after he left and said the same shit. You had people like Smurgle and a couple other guys who taught. These are big guys. These are not small dudes. That's one thing y'all need to understand. These are not small dudes saying this. These are not small dudes saying this. These are bigger dudes, right? Of a variety of age ranges. And we haven't even gotten like the old heads like Black Huru and BGS really commenting on it. Even though BGS has actually created content about the Cleon mating ritual, so he actually has commented on it. This was talked about way before Mike ever opened his mouth. So if you go through BGS's even recent videos in the last like 6 weeks with the Cleon mating rituals and all this shit, this is exactly what the fuck that is. And I'm not trying to curse at you. I'm just saying what it is. So what I like to do is take things that generally don't on the surface have a lot to do with each other, and kind of show how this thing that somebody said applies in this, and this. So you understand it's actually not you, but the audience understands it's actually a concept. It's not just some shit that we're just talking out our ass on some intellectual masturbation shit. What makes Mike important is Mike primarily comes from the fitness world. And as a marketer, when you look at these niches, the entertainment niche, the fitness niche, it's all interesting how people have an opinion on what's going on here. You didn't see that before. You didn't see that pre-COVID. And COVID has introduced a lot of things, but a lot of it is, as you've seen channels get bigger, he responded directly to mediocre tutorial reviews. He went on Fresh and Fit with their channels only like 7 months old, 7, 8 months old. Then he mentioned Kevin. And so the point is, you have a lot of entertainers and a lot of different people and a variety of different stuff. Even Jason Black has gotten some shout out. Kwame Brown. You see a lot of different sports niche with Carcino and Ticket TV. You see the fitness niche. The sports niche and fitness niche are similar, but they're not the same. They could be completely separate. Remember what I said years ago. I said this like 2 years ago, like 2019. Any of y'all listen to me, y'all know. Charles has always been there. I said a lot of this shit is going to merge. The geekdom shit will merge eventually too. A lot of this shit, you're gonna start seeing things intercross with each other. I said that. I was like one of the main ones to say that and really go into detail, on how this stuff was going to intercross with each other. I went into great detail, and I said, as you saw that rise of the apps, the rise of like HBO Max, ESPN Max, and all that stuff switching, you're also going to see social media. Because it's interesting, because me and Mr. Research used to have a conversation back and forth about YouTube and his theory. And I'm not saying he's wrong, because it still remains to be seen. But his theory was they were going to minimize content creators and get real commercial on YouTube. I said, I don't think it was going to go that way, because they always have an element. Yes, they'll always favor bigger content creators, but YouTube likes to keep things fresh, so they like to elevate certain things. So even the lower content creators are still going to have a place, because that keeps people on the platform niche wise. And you see, when I'm saying a lot of different shit here, but when you see the super chats, that was for the smaller creators, because that was a way of saying, we're not going to give you no assets money. We still going to get 30%, but we're going to give you a reason to stay on this platform without having to be extremely bigger YouTuber. So if you actually have a cult following, you can be benefited with that, even if we demonetize your videos. That was a compromise. Also, if you look, they're doing a beta experiment on YouTube actually too, where you can actually super chat people without it being a premiere. You can do a shout out thing. It's like on a phone. I have to do a screenshot. So anyway, my point is, I talked about a lot of this stuff like 18 months ago, even sooner, 12 months ago. Like kind of like right before COVID really hit. I was talking about all that, because I was talking about this going into 2020. And as you can see, you've seen an acceleration of growth. Now, a lot of people think that when everything gets back to normal, people go outside, that's going to dissipate. Yeah, it'll dissipate a little, but it will never go back to what it was. Just like how once people started buying things online, that got increased more and more and more, and it increased exponentially. I'm not saying that's going to happen the same thing with YouTube, but as people are used to, as these TVs are getting cheaper in the United States of America. I just went to Walmart to get another HDMI cable. I mean, you can get a 55-inch for like $300 some now from a brand. They had $800 for a 75-inch. Like, and all these computers are smart. All these TVs are smart now. All these TVs, you can plug the newer computers, you can plug to an HDMI or adapter. My point is, I like to talk about the market stuff a little bit, especially when it allows me to kind of merge some of the stuff that I'm passionate about outside of this and show how it's intermixing into some of the stuff that we talk. Because everybody may not always be over here, but it hears it. So going back to Mike, as Mike's in the sports guy, and you've always had rumblings in this space. Shout out to Nagone for really talking about a lot of stuff too, because we got fitness heads, we got shout out to Charles, we got people to live, we got all that stuff, but that has always come into this. And make no mistake, Mike chose to make this content, and Mike chose to not just make this content, he chose to basically be a condescending prick. And basically take his influence at 1.34 million subscribers and then throw a whole bunch of other bullshit. And I'm gonna tell you, it is very dangerous. Even on the hit shit, that's some dangerous shit that he said. Actually, that is some really, really bad shit that he said. Because and I'm not gonna go into it because we talked about it yesterday. But Mike doesn't understand that. Like, I don't say he doesn't understand. It seems like he's dumb, where he think he can't get touched by one of these chicks. And all they got to do is lie on his ass, really. So, but I don't give a damn about that. My point is, he went on Fresh and Fit, which is cool. Nobody gave a fuck about him until really Mediocre kind of did the video he did, in which he was really doing the same typical shit you see people like C Boogie and other people try to do. And he's like the apex predator or somebody like that. This argument that the red pill is anti-self-improvement. That's not true. just because we focus on more socio-political elements of shit. Because understand something, and I'm gonna segue away from that because she was a well thought out question, and that's why it was worthy of me actually explaining it. You know, it's not that people are butthurt. Nobody cares about changing his mind. We don't do what we do to change y'all's mind. That's not what we don't do what we do with the intent of changing people. We do what we do to get everything out there so people can stop living in this perpetual, what I'm gonna start dubbing this commercial deception. Because people used to understand when they were being sold and when they were not being sold. But because of social media and a variety of different things, people actually cannot be told. They don't know when they're being sold or not. Like when you look at like shit like Fashion Nova and shit like that, and women are wearing these clothes, they don't understand that Fashion Nova is an affiliate company. You get an affiliate program if you click on a link and buy these clothes. People don't understand. People don't even know when they're being sold anymore. And I first understood this, but recently when I was listening to Kevin and Joe Budden, he knows the difference between, okay, I'm on and I'm not on. That's what really wanted him to bring Kevin on, because Kevin can say things he couldn't say. And it wasn't that Kevin could say things he couldn't say. It was that Kevin built a following as big as his. Kevin's YouTube channel is bigger than Joe Budden's now, off of saying things that you're not supposed to be able to say. And then it's not supposed to be commercially viable, because Kevin really hasn't commercially tapped this channel. Not really yet. And he said he would down the road, but he's letting it grow right now. So that was really, I think, what a lot of these bigger YouTubers like about Kevin, as far as the ones that want to talk to him, Jumper, all of that. Even Vlad. So, but the point is, even observing that interview, you could tell that Joe Budden was having difficulties like switching between the dimensions. And I could tell it wasn't just him just saying certain things. Like it was certain things that he would say, and I could tell he really believed that. And that's the thing, because motherfuckers are so in this commercialized zone, which America's the most commercialized country to ever exist. Motherfuckers really don't know the difference anymore. They don't know, and that's not just women, that's men. So in black culture, we'll call this game. They don't know when game is being ran and not being ran anymore. And so that's one of the reasons why we sit there and say what we say, to kind of say the shit we say is not really commercially driven. This is why when people start saying shit that may seem like it's commercially driven, aka the new manosphere, aka some shit I'm about to get into, that's always an accusation in this space. Because it's like, okay, now what you're saying is being commercially driven, and the mission is going to take a back seat to that. And it's like, look, you can do that, but don't get mad at people. Like, make it clear that's what you're doing. Even Obsidian asked that he asked a question at the end of Bernard's shit today, where he was talking about what was the real motivation of Fresh and Fit. I don't really focus on them as much because they're manosphere adjacent, and they, and you can use their content for what it needs to be used. But the point is that is nobody gives a shit about changing his mind. I shared a documentary that was from a bodybuilding company because Young Grizzly shared that, and I thought that would be a nice content. Y'all know I'm used to sharing other content on my channel. I'm always sharing different people. I shared the Pink Book. I'm always sharing somebody else's shit. That's what I use it for. It's kind of like a newsletter, rather than using it to repush my own shit to you all. Because if y'all want to hear what the fuck I gotta say, y'all will come over here. Y'all know where I am. I don't need to like repush my stuff back to you. And that's a good strategy. I'm not hating on nobody that does that. That's all. It was a documentary somebody found, and Grizzly got, and Grizzly probably got it because there's people that follow him outside of the Red Pill content. And I said, you know what? Rather than talking about this motherfucker, let's actually get a third party independent assessment of his background so people can have a more educated thing. That's where it starts. That's where it ends. As far as wanting to change his mind, I don't give a fuck about that. I mean, we already know who he is. He's a dude that had a chip on his shoulder, that improved himself. He said it. He said, I needed to improve myself to qualify myself for women. And if you understand his background and some of the cheat shit he did, which I'm not going to discuss that because that's irrelevant to my point, that was his goal. That's it. So we already know who he is. It's not about changing him. It's not about changing him. It's about identifying properly. This is who he is. This is the motivations. And so, all this stuff that he's throwing out, he already admitted. He already said, I don't know and I don't care to know because I need to save information from our brain. He probably does. So that's it. Y'all are making it bigger than what it is. Y'all are, oh, why are you attacking him? Same, it's a topic. Same reason why I jump on Tommy. Hell, I'm a hell of a lot more passionate about motherfuckers kissing Tommy's ass. Same reason why we talk about Kwame. Same reason I talk about anybody. And then on top of that, BGS, because BGS at the bottom said, why is this dude important? Well, I don't know if BGS really gets what's going on, but when he came, I shared the link with him with Jessica X. I said, because this is in his own words. So this is not, he decided to come off his high castle and actually talk to the regular folk for a second. So that's very insightful because he was very comfortable in what he was talking about. And I would argue he was more comfortable than he was in Fresh and Fit. Because when you're in your own home, you tend to be very comfortable. Versus when you're face to face on people, not saying that, he's scared or anything, you're putting your regular person clothes. He could be a cool guy. We're still going to talk about the points though. Like, we're still going to talk about the points though. And somebody out here, and then there's a lot of dudes, because I don't pay attention to this too much. There is we're post 2020 now, 10 years since 2010, and you have dudes that they gotta damn me have near-death experiences to realize just because that bitch smaller than you don't mean shit. And you live in a society, we're like, what, 2 years post Me Too? And you're in a society where women don't have to be physically stronger than you. They can lie on your ass and get you fucked up. And then if you're, and it's crazy to me, how dudes can just be that oblivious to shit. Now, her other point was talking about, well, nobody's really mad about his stats because everybody understands that really the stats say women initiate domestic violence more than anybody. The argument really is that the main argument, and this is an argument Mike made, it don't matter because women are not as strong as you. It don't matter. And that's interesting how that mentality only exists in the Western world, but to the extent that it does. But also that shit really exists in the Black community because Latin women don't think that way to that extent. White men don't think women don't think that way to that extent. Asian women don't. That's some shit only ADOS Black men think. And whenever I see, why is it that ADOS Black, hell, Africans don't think like that shit. Caribbeans don't be on that. Not like that. Because they know if they women want to do something, they women will find a way. So that is, so to say, well, we just need to report it to get statistics. Well, we're examining why dudes don't report it. And unbeknownst to me, shout out to Smurgo, shout out to other panelists. I'm sorry, I'm not blanking on your names. They're educating me on the motivations as to why they don't do it. And their mentality, and a lot of these guys are younger, they have something to say because a lot of these guys coming up need to understand that shit is not okay. And you, to women's credit, have women that even say that. It was another woman, Danica, I think her name is, or Danica or something, and then Jessica, they said that's not okay. It's not. Topic of Mike is very important because he provides example, alpha your way through it. A lot of men don't understand what that looks like. That's another thing too. You're right. He's kind of, and he also, you see the positives of that and the negatives of that too. I'm not going to get into the accusations because I don't know enough to really speak on that. And that's not relevant to what I'm saying. But you see, like a lot of these guys, they have this thing where they want to look. And this is where Charles Faulkner becomes like very important. This is why I always promote his channel, and y'all really need to sub to him and build his channel up and get him north of 10. Because you can't say that shit to somebody like Charles. Like, y'all need to understand that we need motherfuckers that can nullify that bullshit. You can't say that bullshit to Charles. You can't. You can't say that bullshit to Dennis. You can't say that bullshit to these people because they got that shit covered. And a lot of and here's another thing with the alpha your way through it shit. There are a lot of things you can alpha your way through. Understand something. And I want to be very clear here. Appreciate the the super chats. Make sure y'all hit the Cash App. This is what I'm gonna say. And shout out to the Gone. What people need to understand about what we talk about is there is a difference between personal responsibility and the group macro dynamic. I always say there's a difference between the micro and the macro. And the alpha your way through it shit is a micro thing. So if people say, and this is also comes up in the argument where people will say, well, what does the manosphere do for black men? What they're essentially saying is, what information are you providing to the individual black man for self-improvement? And what I would argue is, for the most part, when you look at the content that we create, the content that we create doesn't attract. Like, we don't make videos titled how to do this, how I could become that. Maybe the dating sector does that, but the dating sector accuses us of being anti-self-improvement as well. It's not like we clickbait motherfuckers and trap them over here. People find our shit and stay with our shit because they want to hear what the fuck we got to say. So somebody's sitting here and trying to say, well, you don't make self-improvement content. Well, motherfucker, that's not the channel. That's not what the fuck the channel's about. And I'm not talking about Queen. I'm off of Queen. I'm just talking about like the prevailing critiques. That's not what the channel is about. My channel says, what the fuck does it my channel, politics, sports, travel, finances, and black male first. That's what the channel under barbershop talk. Barbershop talk. That's what the fuck my channel says. I mean, it's not like we're lying to people. We're very transparent as far as what we talk about. Black male first content. And if anything, we give you insight of the environment that you're in so you can better understand how to navigate through it and win. A lot of what we say is philosophical. It helps you understand the world you're in as a black man, which is some shit that self-improvement motherfuckers won't tell you. Because they'll tell you make more money. Motherfuckers will say, well, it's really about class. That is true to a certain extent. But it's not so much about class that, a white man is going to like do shit with you that they may not because of class. That puts blinders on certain shit. Like, shout out to Glenn and Cameron, because Glenn and Cameron's a big class guy too. And he's been homeless and been a millionaire for a long time now. But he was talking about the Turo fucking car, the Turo hire car stuff, which y'all should check that out. That's some gold shit. And then motherfuckers, some people, like 1 out of 10 motherfuckers are taking his shit, not giving his cars back and shit. And he didn't really want to pull the race card out there. He didn't. But I said, motherfucker, I'll do it. I said, them niggas are doing that because you black. As soon as they see you black and got some money, them motherfuckers doing stupid shit. It was this nigga that literally rented a car from Glendon, a Range Rover, for a bitch. There was a single mother. And he didn't want to get a car back until dude had to threaten the police and get the cop on the phone. Because Glendon even showed the text messages. And it was crazy. But if you think, well, it's about class and all, you get blinded to some of these things because you don't want to really think the worst of people. No, what black men need to be aware. The main thing that fucks black men up is black men tend to get comfortable. You are the most targeted group in the United States of fucking America. You are the most vulnerable group in the United States of America. Yo dumb ass is the most sleep group and game goofy group in the United States of America. And those three are a recipe to be fucked. And it doesn't matter if even these niggas like, yeah, man, I get plenty of bitches. Okay, wait till she want to tax your ass with child support. Because y'all niggas most of y'all niggas are not going to be like Archer, having 3 kids with 3 different women, and ain't none of them hitting your ass for child support. And see, there's a story behind that too with Archer. Archer is providing shit. So it ain't that Archer's skating. But a lot of y'all don't know that. So trust me, Archer is definitely paying it forward For my point though is a lot of y'all niggas that think, oh man, you just lift weights, become an alpha, all that. You get a whole you are not sexually disciplined, and you get a whole bunch of bitches pregnant. That bitch will turn on you because nigga, she can always find another dick. She can always find another buff nigga. If she got you, she probably can get another nigga. That's what's in her mind. So it ain't nothing to take you to court and fuck your shit up. But see, niggas don't like, niggas are real out. You see the bitch and you see the bitch in a lot of niggas if you go to that child support court. And shout out to Angry Man, because Angry Man was talking about some child support shit that I ain't even ever heard of. Now I don't got kids, so I had no reason to, but I'm like, wow, the shit he going, that's some nigga, that's some shit you pay motherfuckers for, that information he talking about. Like that's some Patreon $15, $20 shit. Like a month, for real. But that's the shit you got to figure out. But if you go into that shit thinking, yeah, man, I'm a man, I know I'm doing the right thing for my kids, I want it, nigga, you gonna run into a buzzsaw. What happened with Neo in the Train Man? He said, in this place, I built this place. Here, I'm God. And threw Neo against that fucking wall like the bitch he was. But see, dudes be thinking, oh, if I just lift weights or if I just get money, I'm safe. Now, when it comes to money, because niggas are always anti-economic, they love talking about, well, money don't mean shit. Yo, I can still get your bitch. But when it comes to like that buff shit, they don't want to hear that. Look, I'm going to tell you straight up, and I'm jumping around, I know. I'm 5'5". Shout out, if I get buffed out, there's going to be bitches that don't want me on the strength that I'm 5'5". And that's okay. You have to be okay with that. But you got niggas that they'll get in the gym, come out that motherfucker, and if a chick say, well, I really don't like short guys, they prefer skinny, tall dudes, motherfuckers be wanting to kill. And that's your fault, because you the one that gave her that validation in the first place. You're the one that expected something from her. Just like when niggas take bitches out on dates, 3 dates, spending all this money, and they get mad. Well, you should have said no. Well, the game is the game. I mean, after the first date, after the second date, we didn't fuck, you should have caught a clue. Maybe you need to understand how to gauge chemistry. And is it fucked up? Sure. But as men, you got to learn to adapt. That's what the red pill is about. That's what we talk about. If you got people that want to talk about other shit, we can talk about other shit. That's cool. But you got people, it's like, man, I like what y'all saying, but can y'all do this? That's why I refer you to other motherfuckers. I refer you to Glendon and Erica and people that are about, finances. I don't try to tell y'all a lot of shit about shit I don't know. And that's why you always see me referring people, referencing people. Because I don't necessarily that's why I'm very upfront. When I talk about the height, I'm upfront about that. I want y'all to know who the fuck is talking to y'all, not me fronting like on the internet. This is why I'll bring up people like when people say, oh, well, you talk about Fantastic being 6'5". No, I'm saying that nigga is that saying what he's saying. So it's not as cutthroat as you would think. Everybody has different experiences and different attributes. So anyway, coming back to the topic, the topic is the real thing I wanted to talk about too was something that Grown Man Business talked about. I've seen other dudes talk about this. I'm not saying this is not legit. What I'm saying though is I got my opinion on it. Is this idea, Silent Lamont said this too. I've heard this. I've heard Zero allude to this. Like kind of before anybody. Is this Angry Man's talking about this? Is this the new hustle? Is just like how you got women that they're at least smart enough to know not to say they're a feminist. They're smart enough not to be a card carrying feminist, right? You also have women. The idea is that women are now smart enough to try to be like these fake new alts. We've had this conversation before. Nola Girl was a big topic of it a long time ago. Olivia, Alexa, like I've had this conversation before. I get it. I get it. And it's always something that gets recurring with me. It's because a lot of times people be like, why do you share all these women? Because I share you at least the attributes of what I look for. It's opposite of the bullshit. Or the common sense in women that may otherwise be ratchet, to show you that I'm not necessarily judging you on certain things you may think. I'm judging you on how you act and also what your mindset is about. So the idea is, and take Love Dorsey off of it, is that women are learning in this space, so they're learning to basically tell men what they want to hear as a mechanism of getting what they need to get out of men. Okay, so first things first. You don't have a lot of women growing yet, like gangbusters doing that on social media. But in real life, we always say, pay attention to what women do, not what they say. And if you hold to that, you're fine. End of the day, you're either fucking or you're not fucking. I mean, like, let's keep this real. Now, if you want to believe in what a bitch says, okay, that's a different type of issue. To the point where you giving up money, that's a different type of issue. Now, in the context of social media, Jessica X is one of the ones that's usually in the forefront of this argument. But keeping all the way 100, if you look at that interview, what Jessica X got out of that dude, that was a good interview. That was a valuable interview. And so you have to look at the value you're getting and take and have an honest account for that. Like, non-biased. And that's different for every person. I have a, even with the breakdown, I critique the breakdown pretty heavily from time to time. But as men, you always got to keep it logical and take the emotion out of it. And I think a lot of dudes, they get alarmist. Like, the dudes that are gonna fall for that are dudes that were always gonna fall for that. Okay, let's just call that what it is. Motherfuckers will be like, oh, well, they're getting the secret information so they can just know how to talk in certain ways. The dudes will be like, oh, man, you ain't like that. Man, them niggas wanted to believe that shit anyway. Like, if dudes were to tell me I hang about a whole bunch of red pill minded women, okay, are you fucking though? No. Are you getting money out of them? No. Why are you around them? Well, man, I just like the energy. Nigga, shut. It's gonna be the same response. What the fuck is wrong with you? I don't need women telling me what the fuck I want to hear. Why? It's what they are doing. They are either doing shit or not. Any nigga that talks about they like energy from a bitch, it's like, nigga, so you mean to tell me you're not fucking enough females to have women like that you actually are having sex with? That sounds like some beta shit when I hear people say that. Well, nigga, you don't need to be sleeping with every woman you around. Okay, are you getting money out of them? Is there a networking thing? Well, no, man, you just want to be around for good company. Oh my God. Those are those goofy niggas that'll fall for that. Well, yeah, Nola girl pissed a lot of white guys off when they found out she was dating a black dude. But she survived it, though. My point is, I'm telling y'all, I know this shit outside of the normal argument within the manosphere. It's an argument that's come up. And I'm not saying it's not legit. It's kind of like one of those arguments that the value in the argument is it keeps people honest. So that's why I don't tend to get mad about the argument, because I can definitely explain what I'm doing personally. So I'm not knocking the argument down, but at the same time, it's kind of like, I get it, but sometimes I think people are getting alarmist with it. Oh man, they're taking, because I mean, what's the solution? Is the solution just stop fucking talking? Like, come on. Dudes are going to have to be able to deal with women and navigate with women in their bullshit. That's part of why we do what we do, so they can have the right mindsets and context for doing that. I don't do what I do to be like, all women are bad and y'all need, women are like alcohol. All of them are bad and you shouldn't drink it all. I don't have that mentality. I have the mentality of gaming you all up, educating you all up. So if you all want to deal, y'all have the proper inner mindsets in order to be able to properly deal with that. My particular part in that is making you hyper aware of your environment and your surroundings. So both physical, social, even your mental surroundings, all of that, even your own inner conflict. That's what I try to aim to do with the shit that I talk. So and people get mad because it's like, why are you sharing shit? Well, also another reason why I'm sharing shit is because a lot of guys, if they just hear just guys talking, they're gonna make a lot of assumptions about shit, and that's just how black men are wired. And so you have to understand, look, this is what right is, this is what wrong is, so you understand where I'm coming from. But dudes don't tend to see that. You had the and it also allows us to get into a lot of the points where it hurts. But a lot of these dudes, they're gonna get fucked anyway. It's just a matter of when. So I'm not worried about them. I'm really not. I'm not here to protect niggas from bitches. That's not what I'm here for. If you're a sucker, you might as well go ahead and accept that's who you are and be good with that. I'm not here to save niggas from suckers. That's not what I do. And then you got dudes that they want to alpha. And the problem with the alpha shit is what dudes tend to do is they tend to hyper focus on certain aspects, and then they get blind to other aspects. And see, that makes you a target. And my thing is, I point that out because at the end of the day, that's a choice too. I know somebody even said that Melissa Ford even said she used to put her hands on me until a dude put his hands on her ass back. And that's a big thing, man. And I was surprised that Queen, like, man, he has a right to have his opinion. I don't agree, but y'all need to stop going after him. I'm like, yo, we ain't really going after nobody like that. A lot of these guys that be jumping on Mike too is a lot of these white guys that are BBC, because think about it, Mike don't even date black women like that. So as a sexual threat, he's not a sexual threat really to other black men that date black women. He's a sexual threat to white men. So a lot of these white mixed houses are the ones that's really going after his ass. So yeah, and so but what we're gonna do, the truth is gonna be told. Make sure you all subscribe. Make sure I like the video. So anyway, I just wanted to put that shit out there because it's always these kind of shout out to Vernon. Appreciate the $20. Yeah. And like you got dudes out here talking about, yeah, man, she hit me and I laugh. And I'm like, yo, you like y'all are really goofy. Cause these will be the main chicks that'll be like, all right, I got you. I'm about to hit myself and call the cops on your ass. Let them white dudes hit your ass. That's how that happens. And then niggas had the goof troop look on their fucking face. Cause they don't know. Cause they don't take that serious. And my thing is, like, yeah, man, the pussy's great. When we angry. Prophet of Thought series, $5 piece of the hurricane. Appreciate that. And you know what? I gotta bring Obsidian in this shit. What did Obsidian say about that? Hate fucking. What did he say about that? That's some redneck nigga shit. Hate fucking. He did that whole thing on Bernard Riley, like last week, talk about hate fucking. A lot of y'all like that shit. That's why y'all deal with crazy bitches. That's why y'all like dealing with that shit. Y'all like them savage types. And again, this is why I promote Love Dorsey, because she talks about that shit on the opposite end. Them women be making up stories. Yeah, she said something that was funny as hell. She said that y'all be putting yourselves in relationship with niggas that y'all were just dating and then getting mad when they cheat, when half the time they not cheating because y'all was never in a relationship. She talks about the other side of it. A lot of y'all I hate to use the term toxic, but y'all are toxic as a motherfucker. Y'all like that violent shit. And y'all need to be honest about that. Y'all like bitches that hit y'all. Y'all think it's funny. Y'all think it's cute. Y'all like having that worked up sex. Some of y'all niggas need to go to Brazil and understand what passion is without motherfuckers hating your ass. The only way some of you niggas can get passion out of a black bitch is by her being angry. Because that's how femininity starved some of y'all are. And then y'all wonder why y'all go through what y'all go through. Myron got to deal with a bitch slapping him because y'all niggas like that shit. Think about that shit. And I was like, damn, I didn't even realize. And like I said, I absorb all this stuff, and I'm showing you it's not something. And Obsidian went through the whole thing, talking about that shit has been going on for years. That ain't some new shit. That's a decades old thing. That angry sex. This is why when women talk about, I've been in a relationship for 8 years, but he was abusive, bitch, fuck you. You like that shit. You love it. That's that softcore BDSM bullshit. You love it. It was funny because in a Lapeef show, they would talk about domestic discipline and permission-based discipline. But that's how black people do it. That hate fucking shit. And niggas, yeah, man, I like that passion, yo. I like that. Crazy sex is the best sex. Then your car's getting keyed, you getting ran over, bitches calling the cops on you. She get used to that, using a white man to regulate your ass. Then she hit you in the nut to do something. You hit her for real. Now you in jail with a domestic charge. It's like, how did this fucking happen? Yo, dumbass, let her get away with all that bullshit. And when I say let her get away with it, I mean you stayed. You just as stupid as she is. You are just as dumb. You niggas don't know what passion is from a woman because these women hate your ass so much. They don't know how to love you right. So y'all, that Cleon shit, absolutely. And y'all are just as fucked up for accepting that shit. That's why they like to say dark skin, white skin niggas are weak. No, because we don't tolerate that shit. We say, bitch, you can go ahead with that. Shout out to Xanatos. We don't put up with that shit. That's why you don't see light skinned chicks doing that shit like that. That shit like, no. That shit is not cool. And I'm not saying women can't never be mad, but when shit get violent like that, y'all are dumb. Talk about a chick that hit you 12 times and you just laugh. And then you're surprised when it's just, and that's the same, what do women say when men abuse them? They always raise the roof because they get used to it. Yeah, that's some crazy shit. And y'all nigga, like there's something wrong with y'all. And y'all outcome, and it's like, dude, y'all are too vulnerable in this society to be playing like that. Like for real. Like that shit kills me. And so the shit that he's saying, that like and what kills me is it's like, nigga. Like he was like, yeah, man, Jessica said something about, women using their quote unquote privilege to get men locked up and shit. Well, is that a problem? I'm like, nigga, how many like college athletes have lost their time? I'm like, nigga, you really are like pulling the jock stereotype. Like, for real, is that a problem? And this would be the main nigga that if he get caught the fuck up, he gonna be, I don't know. I'm like, are you serious? Exactly. And that's what, when BGS was asking me, Like, why is this person important? Because when dudes, that's that Cleon mating shit. And you see it today. Shit BGS was saying like 30, 40 years ago. You see that today. That's how dudes are. That's how dudes, just like how dudes got this issue with liking older women. BGS was talking about that village wife shit. That's why I present this stuff, to show you this is happening. This ain't some shit we just online talking about. This is happening in real time today. Anyway. So yeah, man. This is not a, Toronto Burke. That's so fucked up. And so, and then also when you have, and like I said, dudes got 1.34 million subscribers. Niggas be like, yeah, man, train. Ain't nobody telling you not to do that shit. But nigga, that ain't a be all end all for everything. That's just gonna make you a target. Shit, SWP was in the gym. And he talked about the differences. Well, I'm saying shout out to Santa Genitals. Clutch ain't putting up with that bullshit from sisters either. That Cleon shit. Y'all want to be like, I'm gonna keep it real with you. Y'all want to be Cleons. Y'all need to go. See, man, the regular black people need to separate from the niggas. That's really what needs to happen. Y'all want to do this village wife, multiple and look, I'm not judging y'all. I've told y'all where I come from, so I'm not sitting there trying to judge you, but it definitely not expected that we repeat that. Y'all want to go on the village wife, Cleon mating rituals? Y'all need to take y'all ass over there so the regular motherfuckers can do regular motherfucker shit. That's what I'm saying needs to happen. There's too much of this cultural perversion that's allowed to intermix in the black community, keeps it fucked up. Anyway, I'm about to jump off this bitch. Shout out to the Grinch, who always is spitting hot fire. Y'all should be subscribed to the Grinch. Y'all need to go over there, subscribe to Charles Faulkner. He's live right now. I'm about to end this video. I'll probably be over there seeing what he got to say. Shout out to Archer. Archer said that every woman he's ever dated put their hands on, except for one. Ha, that's funny. I'm not even, well, not funny, but I mean like the fact is all of you've ever dated. I'm not telling you to call a police on women, although Glendon would say you really should. What I'm telling you is you should, if a woman puts their hands on you, you all need to be able to walk away from that bitch. That's what I'm saying. That's kind of what I'm saying. Like that nigga talk about he in the bathroom. Are you serious? Now I left the place to cool off. I'm in the bathroom. And that's another thing. Shout out to Dr. T.S.on Johnson. Everybody in the manosphere should be subscribed to T.S.on Johnson. I would even argue Green Gorilla and Ron O'Neal. You know why? Because think of what T.S.on Johnson could do with Mike's ass. Bringing academics into it. Saying, nigga, yo, like, that's how you get these motherfuckers. Don't get them like, fuck that. We just roasting their ass. That don't mean shit. You really break down like that. Like a lot of what he said was misandrous, like straight up. And he don't even understand. Like that dude, like understand that it was the gynocracy that intimidated Mike. The power behind it. He never said what race that woman was. My point is that shit tells you you cannot tell me there is no gynocracy. And then it's funny. Oh, men ain't oppressed, but you in the bathroom. Ain't no bitch ever had me in the bathroom. No, I'm not doing that bullshit because I hate that misogynoir bullshit. Because to me, I think that minimizes a very serious thing. That's crazy. But he don't even understand context of what he was saying. And when you lump that shit in, because I was gonna do a bitty video, and I still might, putting Boyce Watkins on one part of the thumbnail and then Mike, and showing you these are the niggas that protect the system, the beta and the buck. Anyway, all right, yeah. Make sure y'all check out Grinch. Let them know I sent you. And with that being said, this is Edward signing off.